Good evening everyone, welcome back to my channel where I talk about random things on this planet without extensive research to help you night-night faster. This video was highly inspired by my recent viewing experience of Disney's live-action MUFASA. At first, I thought it was really funny, and then I got upset. And then I kind of just lost all will to live because the movie was so bad. So we are talking about real lions today. In the summer of 2000, the original Sparta Pride, located in the Kruger National Park in South Africa, lost a male lion about 20 to 21 months of age. The lion was named Mapogo, meaning the big one. He wandered about and eventually found the airfield pride dominated by the West Street Males Coalition. Being unrelated to the lionesses, Mapogo was pushed to the side when feeding. The lionesses attacked him when they felt like it, especially when he was attempting to bond with the other male cubs. Surprisingly, the West Street males tolerated him even as a sub-adult. The West Street males were beyond kind and generous by lion standards. Even though Mapogo helped with hunting and protecting the pride, the West Street males were truly not obligated to keep him. They even allowed him to stay with the pride until the other male cubs had entered their sub-adulthood and kicked them out together. During the eventual decline of the West Street males, Mapogo took on the responsibility of helping the pride survive. He looked after the younger cubs and fed the females who were once mean to him when he arrived as a sub-adult. At this time, Mapogo was already 5 or 6 years old. There were 5 younger males with him. Their names were Rasta, Pretty Boy, Dreadlocks, Kinky Tail, and Mr. T. It was likely that Mr. T and Kinky Tail, the 2 youngest males, were from the same litter, while the rest were brothers, half-brothers, and cousins. Together, the 6 lions formed the Mapogo Coalition, which became one of the most well-known lion coalitions documented so far. Most lion coalitions in the wild consist of 2 to 3 males. The Mapogos began as 6, an extremely rare and almost unnatural formation. Despite not all being littermates, they shared a very close bond. The coalition significantly impacted lion demographics within Sabi Sands, causing pride disruptions and genetic redistribution, influencing local lion populations and pride structures for many subsequent years. They were documented to have unalived over 40 rival adult male lions. They wiped out entire prides, including lionesses, to reshape territories. In some cases, they hunted other lions for sport. No coalition before or since has been credited with so many lion unalivings. While most coalitions take over 1 pride or 2, during their peak, the Mapogos had held control over 6 to 8 prides at once, spanning multiple zones of the Sabi Sands region and covering over 170,000 hectares. In the wild, lionesses have a lifespan of about 15 to 16 years, while males typically live for about 8 to 10 years. They are the only truly social big cats. Females and cubs live in prides, usually about 3 to 12 members, but sometimes the number might exceed 20. Females stay in their pride for their entire lives. Males are ousted when they reach sub-adulthood at 2 to 3 years of age by their fathers or other dominant males. This is a survival mechanism to prevent inbreeding and to give young males a chance to form coalitions and challenge new territory elsewhere. Normally, the subadult males are kicked out together in groups. They become nomadic males and form a coalition. During this time, they grow in size and experience and learn to become successful hunters. When an opportunity presents itself, the young males would go into the territory of another coalition and challenge the existing dominant males. The young males would either unalive all of the old dominant males or chase them off, then take control of their territory and pride. Or the young males would lose. They would either get unalived or get chased off and go back to being nomadic males again. After a successful pride takeover, the new males would find and unalive all of the cubs fathered by the previous dominant males. The goal is a genetic reset. Lionesses won't mate while nursing cubs, so by eliminating them, the new males bring females back into estrus within a few weeks. Lionesses with cubs don't passively accept the new males. They often take the cubs away from the pride and attempt to hide them. However, most of these attempts are unsuccessful. These cubs are almost always found, then unalived, and sometimes became snacks. The lionesses usually try to resist the new males to a certain degree and try to protect their cubs. But if they do so too aggressively, they risk being unalived as well. In most cases, they rejoin the pride and accept the new males shortly. I am by no means a lion expert. I'm just a regular dummy with dummy knowledge. However, the way that lions were portrayed in Disney productions was just too infuriating. First of all, it is odd that Simba is the only male cub. Second of all, he is supposed to be closely related to Nala, his love interest in the film, because they're from the same pride. Mufasa is the dominant male. He can mate with all of the lionesses. And even if Nala was fathered hypothetically by a nomadic male, the lionesses from the same pride are usually sisters, cousins, mothers, aunts to each other. And Simba does not get to inherit Mufasa's land. He should be exiled. It was just done a little too early. And unlike how the male lions were portrayed in Disney's live-action Mufasa, in real life they don't just sit around and do nothing. Male lions, even after taking over a pride, would actively participate in hunting larger prey. They would also defend the meal afterward, and they would always be patrolling the edge of their territory. Although it is true that lionesses do the majority of the hunting, and after the prey has fallen, the males get to eat first regardless, as long as they are present. In the lion world, there is no such thing as a beautiful golden mane. Darker manes, black manes in particular, signal higher testosterone levels, making the males more dominant and more aggressive. Darker manes are also linked with better nutrition, fewer parasites, and lower stress. So between Mufasa and Scar with the black mane should have been the leader. The nomadic life of the Mapogos lasted for about 2 years. They now had to fend completely for themselves. Hunting in between territories of other lions was extremely difficult. Not only was prey scarce, but it also faced threats from the patrolling dominant males nearby. During this nomadic period, more male lions were unalived than at any other time. When desperate enough, nomadic males would eat carcasses infested with diseases. Sometimes they would fight other smaller predators and steal their meals. As the Mapogos were larger in number, their chances of survival were enhanced. Makulu, being the oldest, became the leader of the coalition. He led the younger members in taking down large prey such as buffaloes, hippos, and even giraffes. Kinky Tail, the second youngest member, was the one who did most of the brute work during hunting. He would grab onto the buffalo's back in an attempt to hold it still while the others attacked. Despite being smaller in size, Kinky Tail's twin brother, Mr. T, was the one who always showed extreme aggression and savageness during hunting and feeding times. He was the one that would go in for everything. He had no problem fighting his own brothers for a larger portion of meat. He had a strong desire to challenge Makulu for the more dominant role within the coalition, but was put down on multiple accounts. In 2006, the Mapogos were finally ready to take over their first territory. After more than 2 years as nomads, the 6 males, Makulu, Rasta, Pretty Boy, Dreadlocks, Kinky Tail, and Mr. T, had matured into a uniquely large and cohesive coalition. Ranging between 5 and 8 years old, they were in peak physical condition. Their first incursion was into the western sector of Sabi Sands, specifically the Castleton Pride territory, then held by a pair of aging dominant males. When the Mapogos arrived, they did so as a unified front. The sheer size of the coalition allowed them to overwhelm their rivals not only through physical combat but psychological pressure, deep roars, scent marking as well. The Castleton males attempted to defend their pride, but the confrontation ended with one male unalived, the second retreated and was not seen again. Following their success, the Mapogos expanded rapidly into central and northern Sabi Sands. They encountered and dismantled the Altoa coalition, 4 dominant males who controlled adjacent territory. 2 Altoa males were confirmed unalived in separate incidents. 2 survivors were exiled. This pattern repeated with the Sparta males. A coalition of 2 had long held ground further east. 1 Sparta male was unalived outright, and the other was wounded and then vanished. During this period, the Mapogos also unalived several nomadic and subadult males. One notable incident involved a subadult lion pursued for over 2 days before being dragged from the undergrowth and unalived by Mr. T and Kinky Tail. 2 years later, the Mapogos held an estimate of 170,000 hectares. They controlled access to 6 or more prides, monopolized breeding, and destabilized lion population structure across the region. While the rest of the coalition were content under Makulu's leadership, Mr. T was not. Being the youngest and smaller in size even after reaching adulthood, he had scarce mating opportunities in comparison to his brothers. Eventually, Mr. T challenged Makulu. Although Makulu had won, a split happened from that point on. Makulu, Rasta, Pretty Boy, and Dreadlocks retained control of the original, more stable territories in the west. Mr. T and Kinky Tail broke away and pushed eastward into riskier and more contested territories. The territories Mr. T and Kinky Tail chose were strategically harder to defend, positioned on the eastern borders of Sabi Sands. These areas were frequently targeted by younger rival coalitions. Interestingly, with only the 2 of them, they controlled an area larger than what the other 4 had. In addition, if any lion wanted to get to the western territory led by the others, they had to get through Mr. T and Kinky Tail first. Therefore, Mr. T and Kinky Tail fought tirelessly for 2 years, while the others had relatively peaceful lives. During this time, another big coalition, the Majingalanis, emerged. Since the original Mapogo coalition had been split, it was now Mr. T and Kinky Tail's turn to be outnumbered. Because these two lions had never lost a fight before, they had no reason to believe they couldn't fend off these intruders. At first, they separated one of the Majingalanis and unalived him. One night, the other 4 Majingalanis came back for revenge. The rangers saw Kinky Tail being pinned to the ground by the Majingalanis. He was injured but still fought ferociously to escape. After a while, a loud crack pierced through the air. The Majingalanis had snapped Kinky Tail's spine. At this time, Mr. T came to his rescue, but being severely outnumbered, he ran away. Kinky Tail was left alone to unalive. The next morning, the rangers found hyenas and vultures feeding on the remains of Kinky Tail. Despite what had broken up the coalition in the first place, Mr. T returned to the west and rejoined Makulu and the rest. The others had been too old to defend themselves, so Mr. T quickly established his dominance within the group. He savagely turned his nieces and nephews into snacks, while the Majingalanis used this time and slowly ate away Mr. T and Kinky Tail's land. Now, the Mapogos were barely holding on to power. Rasta and Dreadlock both went missing. Some blamed poachers and other human interventions. Male lions don't usually survive in the wild past 12 years. Mr. T was 10, Pretty Boy was 12, and Makulu was 14. In 2012, a coalition of 4 young males called the Salatis invaded the Mapogos. Any aging lion would struggle to fight against so many other young males, but that didn't stop one of the Mapogos from trying to defend his territory to the end. Mr. T stayed, while Makulu and Pretty Boy ran away together. When the rangers arrived at the scene, Mr. T suffered a big bite on his spine. The Salatis would take turns, knock him over, and bite him for 15 to 20 seconds at a time. After Mr. T passed, the Mapogos' reign ended entirely. Makulu and Pretty Boy became exiles once again. They slowly roamed in between taken territories, avoiding conflict, and feasted on leftover prey whenever they ran into one. Pretty Boy unalived in 2012 due to infection. After that, Makulu lived in complete solitude. He was estimated to have unalived at 15 years of age in early to mid-2013. The cause of his unaliving was likely starvation.